And there we go. We're starting. Alright, so there's going to be a lot of different movement tech that happens in a very short amount of time, so we'll try to explain it all as they come. So both runners are going through the targets right now, and what you just saw is a scan dash, and what scan dashing is taking the combat strafe mechanic and basically taking advantage of that mechanic. If you do a combat strafe in either direction and then let go of L in the middle of it, you can maintain that burst of speed. And then the runners are also doing a little trick called L jumping, because the animation for jumping slows you down and then speeds you up, but L maintains speed. So if you hold L, it maintains speed, and then letting go of L about a quarter second afterwards allows Samus to gain speed to gain speed during the time in the animation where there's an increase of speed and not lose any speed.
One of the cool things that we're seeing Cody do here, MightyCaesar seems to not be doing, is this thing called bunny hopping. By abusing the R button and turning some of your momentum into sideways momentum, you abuse the fact that there is no sideways speed cap in this game, which allows you to move a lot faster when you...
Hold on. Cody is doing a reposition trick that he actually found himself. And it is done to skip the elevator in this room. There's a little elevator that both MightyCaesar and Cody are skipping. And it's a pretty neat reposition trick. The old way was absolute garbage, so I'm glad that this is the used method these days.
Oh my, yes. Cody Ledge is so much easier.
Anyway, you were saying something and I interrupted you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's good. Actually, the explanation of Cody Ledge is I think, a little bit more important. We can get to bunny hopping in a little bit. Do you wanna walk us through the Parasite Queen fight that we're about to see?
Yeah, let's do that. So normally with Parasite Queen, you're supposed to scan the Parasite Queen, which will allow you to target her mouth. But you can just manually aim and then do this little trick called rapid fire missiles, which basically hold up on the C stick while mashing Y button for missiles, and instead of firing a missile once every 3 seconds, you are firing 3 missiles every second. So it's like 9 times fast. It's pretty broken.
The nice thing about the Parasite Queen is that even without the scan, where you can't lock onto the bigger weak point on the boss, you can manually aim, as Demi said, to the weak point. Which is a really cool thing that a lot of people don't actually know about the game. Some bosses do still have their weak points active even without a scan.
Yeah, the scan is used because this is not a dual stick shooter. You have to hold R in order to look up at first, and then if you hold L halfway, you can just leave Samus's position in the same spot. Cody is going out of bounds right now. There is a very specific spot where if you morph, it'll just reposition you out of bounds. And all this movement that Cody's doing right now is very calculated and specific. That morph allows you to hit a load trigger, because basically the way this game works is it uses load triggers to load rooms, and then going through the door is what's called a transition. And so, that's how Cody's navigating these rooms. If you can't hit the load trigger, you have to, or if you can't hit it out of bounds, you have to, there's other ways of messing around with it, but yeah. Also, those jumps that Cody was doing earlier in the elevator room, you only have a 3-frame window for those jumps. Ooh, and it looks like MightyCaesar had a reset. I didn't really catch what happened. I think he fell in a pretty nasty way.
Yeah, I think he morphed a little too or unmorphed a little too soon, or too early, or late rather. Having trouble speaking today. Let me try that again.
Yeah. If you don't unmorph instantly, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's unmorphing on the first possible frame, which is really frustrating considering that's frame perfect, and it's like a frame perfect way of screwing up.
It's not one of those things you want to mash either. You have to get comfortable with the timing.
Yes.
So a little quick thing while we're going through the cutscenes here with Cody. I do want to talk about how Out of Bounds works overall for any of the new people joining us today that haven't seen this Prime speedrun before. Essentially, and this is the biggest meme in the community, other than I imagine the targets being the final boss of Prime, every room is inside of a box. Is the meme. And outside of that box is what we call ether, whereas inside of the box is normal physics. And whenever you move from the ether into the normal physics part of the box, you have, as Vanmy said, 3 frames to input jump, because it counts as if you're standing on the ground.
Yeah, so what Cody just did is one of the biggest sequence breaks in the game. That space jump is supposed to be 7th item in the sequence. Like, you're not supposed to get that until after boost ball. And so this allows you to bust open the early game in a variety of ways, which we'll see, honestly, within seconds of entering the first major area, Chozo Ruins.
Absolutely. Having space jump first blew the game wide open. And was that Radix that found that, or was that Flammy?
I have no idea. I don't think it was Flammy. Because it came a few weeks after, or I think Flammy came a year after Space Jump. We're talking like 2003, long time ago.
Yeah, I think that might have been a Radix thing.
Yeah, I think it was. All right, so first thing you can do is you can grab this missile expansion on the half pipe, which completely skips having to fight the Hive Mecha. And then this energy tank is to not die. So it's just, I call it an insurance policy that basically at the cost of about 8 seconds, maybe like 8 to 10 seconds at most, I don't know the exact amount, you're less likely to die. Ooh!
Yeah, I believe optimally it's about 8.3.
Oh, look at you with all your numbers.
I was watching Vertigo test some stuff. Anyway, so as Vanmy said, the nice thing about getting the missiles early is you get to skip Hive Mecha. This here is the first point where you want to use the missiles, and why it's so necessary to get them quickly, because you want to get Morph Ball. Morph Ball is almost always faster than just walking. There are only very few instances where it's not as fast, and that involves when you have to do a lot of jumping around.
Or when you're going up a hill.
Absolutely.
Or when it's a very short distance and the animation for morphing and unmorphing is just too slow.
Yeah, in general... Sorry, go ahead.
In this room, Cody's going to pause, and that pause forces this door open, because basically the door won't open normally unless every adjacent room is loaded. So that saves some time, both real time and, more importantly, the in-game timer, which only picks up when you have direct control of Samus.
Normally in the Metroid Prime community, you measure in-game time, which is displayed at the end screen of the game. However, for the purposes of the race, we are using RTA. So whether that changes the runner's routes or not, that kind of comes into question later. Do we happen to know if Cody's doing double IS?
Cody is going to be doing double IS, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the double IS route is completely standard. Everybody does it.
I can't remember who was talking about potentially. I think it was Dante was talking about changing his route to the other one, but I can't remember.
What route?
They were calling it Thug Route or some madness.
Yeah, it's slower in game time than. Yeah. Unless there's been new discoveries, which I mean, 100% has seen route changes for the first time in years. So who knows?
I think it was just for the purposes of the RTA races.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Not watching the cutscenes, but apparently saves time in RTA. Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk?
Big funk. So Cody here moving into one of the first major RNG sections of the game. We are seeing him moving into what we call Zoid. It's also known as the incinerator drone. There are multiple phases, what we call to the fight, where you have to essentially fight off these hornets. I can't. What are the official name for the hornets?
War wasps.
War wasps. Thank you. Yeah, and each phase has a set period of time minimum and a set period of time maximum, and it can fall any amount of time in between that range. I don't know the actual numbers regarding that. Cody can tell you. Vemi, do you happen to know?
8 to 13 seconds for the first phase, and then 15 to 25 for the other,
Oh,
or
perfect.
for the other 3.
There you go. Yeah. So optimally, how we like to measure this in general is if the music does not loop, it's a fairly decent Zoid fight.
Yeah.
Cody having pretty good luck so far, it seems.
It's sounding like it. Hey, check chat, by the way.
I do not have to know what Caesar's PD is, but I can certainly find out quite quickly. Oh, and thank you for the gift subs, Gunsu, Chad, the Ferret. I'm so sorry if I massacred your name there.
Yeah.
Let me pull up PD.
Wow, that was decent Zoid. It was okay. It wasn't spectacular, but it was good.
Yeah.
The music didn't loop, which is good enough.
I think it got like a half a second loop on the fade, but that's nothing major at all. That's a fairly decent. I'd be quite happy with that in a race. Oh, perfect. Coming in with the clutch PB announcement there. 1 hour 37:55. I assume that's the RTA. 137.55. Is that that sounds like I want to say it's a 103. Could be horrifyingly mistaken though. 115. Okay. Well, turns out I was horrifyingly mistaken. Thank you so much, Underslice, for looking that up for me. So Giggle Flat, that any percent time looks like, so that's an RTA. RTA stands for real time attack, which is how we measure outside of the in-game time, which is displayed on the final ending card of the screen of the game. Interslice has the 115 announcement there, which is going to be the RTA because it doesn't have a seconds component. Unfortunately, the in-game time is only displayed in minutes, or minutes and hours. So. Vemi, do you happen to know the specifics of the gate skip there? Okay, well, Cody here is coming up to the first major boss of the game. Flagra. You're intended to fight Flagra after you've gone through actually quite a bit of things. Flagra is a definite stumbling point for a number of people. The quickest way to do it is to knock down, or to defeat Flagra, is to knock down that first mirror, and then roll in and bomb that slot. After which you want to be using different scan points to scan dash, as discussed earlier, to the outside of the bomb slot, because you don't actually have to be in the bomb slot to bomb it in this case. So you are seeing Cody use a dash there, unfortunately missing the dash. That's alright, he's got a good amount of health here, as long as he doesn't get annihilated by Flagra. Flagra does hit quite hard. There we go. So that's what I'm talking about. He did use instead, but that's alright. We are seeing the outside of the bomb slot. MightyCaesar coming up to charge me. charge beam is definitely a massively helpful item in this mission. As after Cody does ooh, okay, that's not good. Does Cody have a safety save is the question. Ooh, no safety save. Uh-oh. Okay, so interestingly, it's still possible that Cody can come back. Cody's time is Cody's PB is quite a bit faster than MightyCaesar's, but this does now throw it into question. All right, so Venmi just having to duck out for a little bit here. I'll be taking over commentary for a little bit by myself. All right, so yeah, MightyCaesar now coming up to Incinerator Drone as well, having a little bit of trouble in the dismount of that tunnel there. Hopefully MightyCaesar has a good Zoid as well. Cody unfortunately had quite good luck with Zoid, and now having to do that again in the future might cost him some time. More so than, you know, dying 15 minutes in. But yeah, Flogger hits incredibly hard, and if you miss the dashes, it can be quite a mess, for lack of a better word. Yeah, so one thing I was addressing earlier, I want to go back to the explanation, is bunny hopping. Cody, once again, of course, getting Cody ledge quite quickly, as one would expect when someone finds a trick. So bunny hopping allows you to turn some of your momentum into sideways momentum, which, as I mentioned earlier, doesn't have a speed cap, which means you can go a lot faster when you're jumping. You also gain a lot of speed when you are able to bunny hop frame perfectly. As soon as you touch the ground, if you jump again, you get a lot more speed, because you don't actually experience the deceleration of being on the ground. And we're about to find out if MightyCaesar has good luck. MightyCaesar does not have good luck today. That is unfortunate. We are seeing a music loop from MightyCaesar. SRS business, yes. Astor is correct. They are permitted to look at the stream. Because it's not a randomizer and it's not going to affect the outcome of things. They're not finding extra information or anything. And in some cases, it can be motivational to see how your opponent's doing. MightyCaesar coming up to one of those things that, you know, is a little bit of a hassle in the game. Not that big a deal. Going through the tunnel, there is a loading unit there. Interestingly, MightyCaesar is going through the puzzle right now. This likely means he's not doing the IBBF, which I'll discuss more when Cody gets to that point. Absolutely. Playing it, yeah, when you know your opponent's fallen behind, playing it safe can mean the difference, especially in this level of run. Cody having no trouble with the transition here again, proving that, you know, knowing your stuff really does help. Out of bounds movement is incredibly difficult and incredibly precise, and Cody's showing off a mastery of that. Just trying to see how his elevator goes here. Couple of missteps, but nothing too major. Cody having no trouble with that elevator. So as Venmi said, when you're out of bounds, you have to be able to touch the loading triggers that allow you to move to the next room. One of the difficult things is if you load too many rooms at the same time, your game will crash. So there's always a fine balance between going through each room optimally and quickly, but also knowing that you need to move through in a very specific way. MightyCaesar taking a safety save there. That makes total sense given the context of the run. Cody having a little trouble with this room here. Hopefully he can get it back on track. And we're out. Perfect. Oh, that room can be such a mess that Cody's going through right now. A lot of people having trouble. They sometimes ceiling warp in. All right, there we go. Cody's out. Perfect. Not the fastest frigate right that I've seen, but you know, in this case, getting out and still having that much time on the clock, I'd be personally happy with that run. Although Cody is by far a better runner than I am, so we'll have to see after the race how he feels about that. The DTR save. Yeah, Vertigo coming into the chat, of course. How you doing today, Vertigo? All right, MightyCaesar. Let's see if he goes for the scan dashes. We might see an implementation of what I was talking about earlier with us scan dashing to the bomb slots. So notably, the bomb slots are not actually active until you knock down that first mirror. It is imperative that you knock that mirror. Otherwise, you can't actually progress. Trust me, I have tried multiple times. All right, Cody grabbing the safety save there after the frigate makes total sense. Cody, no trouble with the dismount, going for space jump first. Makes sense there. MightyCaesar not opting for the scan dashes. We'll see if that comes back to bite him here. Scan dashing is a little faster, but it also means you can more reliably move to the they're very precise, but they're also very consistent. Oh, and there's a scan dash. My apologies. Unfortunately, we're sitting on low life here. You've got 66 energy going into the final boss. I just realized this is going to be really close. Yeah, Esther, you're absolutely correct. So we are likely, going to see some harder tricks coming up later, but we'll see how that goes. MightyCaesar opting to manipulate and then just L jump to the final push. That makes total sense given the energy there. What happened to Venmi? I'm not entirely sure. Might be some technical difficulties. Yeah, we'll have to find out later. Seems she had to duck up. Alright, so MightyCaesar coming up to a major item in the game. Having defeated Flagra, Flagra actually gives you the Various suit, which allows you to move through spaces that have higher heat, which, the next place we're going to is Magmore Caverns, which is kind of like Prime's equivalent of Norfair. Caesar lost about 4 minutes. Cody lost about 15. Cody and PB is 7 faster than Caesar. This really could get really interesting. Yeah, real interesting. You are correct. Again, I really hope I'm not screwing your name. Cody moving quite consistently here, though, really recovering that time. We'll see how his Zoid goes, as there's some good times right there. MightyCaesar. Now, does anyone know if Caesar goes for IBBF or not? He did opt to do the puzzle, so I'm not inclined to do this. Notably, we are going to see early wild done not in the floaty manner. Unfortunately, neither of these players opting for puke suit. Fusion suit plus floaty wild is just the ultimate meme, in my opinion. Yeah, Azure, you are correct. Cody does have some error. MightyCaesar, no trouble with that early wild there. So we are gonna have to fight ghosts though before we get wild. But the thing about wild is as you ascend the spider ball track, which because we're doing this route, we're not going to be getting spider ball. As you ascend the spider ball track, there's a load trigger that when you move upwards through it, it spawns ghosts, as you're seeing right here. If you move downwards through it, but so you have to go partway down the spider ball track and then go back up. So the way we do that currently is we fall partway down in the corner. We hold a very specific direction upward to the left. For me, I just use the notch. Other people don't use the notch if they're not awful like me. And what ends up happening is it allows you to partially slow your descent by using the walls of collision. And you can use that to let more bubbles and ascend the corner. At the top, you want to move your filter to the top right and then on in that order. If you want more to the left, you're not going to stay to the left. But MightyCaesar are having no trouble with that, proving that it's very expensive with the wild tricks. Then when you're fighting ghosts, there is an opportunity right before they move where you can almost stun lock them with charge beam. That's why charge beam is so important. You don't want to be P shooting these ghosts. Caesar unfortunately not getting the cutscene overlap, but that doesn't matter too much. It's only a few seconds. I'm not sure if there are players in the tournament that get Spider Ball. This is a fairly high level race overall. If I were in the tournament, I would be getting Spider Ball. Despite the fact I'm good enough to do early wild, the more annoying trick later of spiderless shafts, I'm not even remotely good enough to do that. So there's some new players in the tournament. Oh, yeah, there you go. Thank you, Interslice. Looks like, unfortunately, this time Cody's Zoid ran a little long there. Not a huge deal, but we will see if the IBDF later continues. So, one thing I want to talk about again while Caesar's moving through Megmore here is that the IBDF is a trick that my buddy Cody7737 found. It stands for Ice Beam before Flogger, which it allows you to go out of bounds in what's called Gathering Hall, or in a room called Gathering Hall, and it allows you to go get Ice Beam if you want before Flagra. Unfortunately, we no longer do the IBDF before Flagra, so it's now Ice Beam before Flagra after Flagra, which I think is a great one. Much about that artifact is intended to go get X-ray visor before you get that artifact, so you can see it, and then you're supposed to kill it. You're supposed to blow open that pillar with a super missile. You don't need X-ray visor to do that, and you can just free aim at the pillar and shoot 2 missiles at it, because apparently that's just how that works. Cody opting for a safety safe makes total sense given the context of this one. MightyCaesar going over top of that gate instead of underneath. See how the Charclops bit goes. This room is deceptively difficult to do often. Caesar having a little trouble there, falling off. And again. It's a very platform-heavy room. It's very difficult to move through optimally. You only see a few runners doing it sideways fully. Scan dashing through it is quite fast though. Alright, Cody getting first try gate clip, or gate skip, that's quite useful. The more you fail that gate skip, if you don't destroy the hives, you end up losing potentially a lot of time to the wasps, just hitting them and messing up your Will Caesar go for racing? Caesar will go for racing. So, ooh, that's unfortunate. So race tank is similar to race tank because most people generally get it in race. It allows that extra level of safety, filling your energy back up to full, and also giving you an extra energy tank. Some more experienced players don't have it, but some do. Just give me half a moment here. I think I might be having some technical difficulties. I'm just gonna take care of something really quick. All right. So Mighty Caesar, having gotten Morph Ball here, is going to allow him to move a lot faster in a lot of areas. It's also going to allow him to spin certain slots later on in the run. Morph Ball is very important to this game. I don't believe you can, or Boost Ball. Sorry, Boost Ball. Sorry. Certain things can be done without Boost Ball. I don't actually remember if 21% got Boost Ball or not. Cody here coming up to early wild once again. Mighty Caesar showing just how much of a lead he has here already in Fendrana Drifts. And we are going to see right now whether Caesar's going to be going for Wave Sun or if we're going to see the inbound Sun IS. And Wave Sun it is. So this is another opportunity where you can get out of bounds using a series of movements. It's actually quite easy if you know how to scan dash to get out of bounds in Fendrana Shorelines. As you kind of just get yourself off to the side onto the wall of the room. Caesar having to transition this room manually because from the outside of the room, you can't actually hit the load trigger that would cause it to flow. So, and also you do have to manually despawn the room. Sorry about that. Brief technical difficulties with my mic there. So Mighty Caesar moving through what we call the Wave Sun, which allows you to use a trick called Infinite Speed to grab both Wave Beam and Sun and the artifact of Sun at the same time by going out of bounds and confusing the game as to which room you're actually in. I'll try to expand on that explanation when Cody gets there, as we have a number of tricks in sequence here that are going to be more, increasingly important. What I do want to talk about is how infinite speed actually works. By getting into a room where the game doesn't actually think you are, the walls become somewhat sticky. It allows you to have no horizontal momentum, but still have rotational momentum if you get into a spot like Caesar's in right now. So you use that to spin up to what we refer to as an infinite speed state. It means that your horizontal momentum has exponentially increased to the point that the game registers it as not a number. By doing that, when you boost into a wall, it returns all collision checks in the room as true. And because the room that Mighty Caesar is actually in right now has Artifact of Sun, where you're trying to trick the game into thinking you are is next to the wave, it allows you to skip the Shegoth fight and also simultaneously get the Sun artifact. When you do inbound Sun IS, you have to actually complete the Shegoth fight and then go to a corner of that room to get infinite speed, bomb jump up to the room that's Caesar's currently in, and go get Sun by boosting into that room instead. The scan point that Caesar just jumped off, or that just scan dodged off of, is where you would be going. Cody here also going for race tank. We are seeing stage strategy. I do believe Cody goes for race tank in yeah, I do want to expand on how the Wave Sun works more so when Cody gets there. Caesar now going to have to go through Magmore Caverns again, this time picking up Artifact of Strength from Warrior Shrine, because, we don't actually like matching the names of artifacts to the rooms that they're in. We had an opportunity, it just doesn't happen. Cody having a little bit of trouble with the bunny hopping movement there, but otherwise. So for the most part here, for the first couple rooms, we're just basically backtracking this one. We go through Magmore Caverns, although we are going to be going through the top of this room here over to the side. It's usually getting that scan dash quite nicely. We're trying to get it back to the street. Cody here going to boost ball, opting to not go around and instead use the collision there to call a slope jump. By moving into a piece of slope collision, and it pushes you partially upwards, which translates to some of your momentum. By jumping at the top of that momentum, you continue that momentum and you go higher than you normally would. You have to, of course, it's actually an L jump that uses some of that momentum that is pushing upwards. Mighty Caesar a little bit of trouble with that scan dash there. Nothing too major. We are seeing some mild trip ups. Might be the nerves getting to it. So there's lots of energy popping boost through that room, which is definitely faster than going through the morph ball track. Cody, little trouble with the dismount there. Nothing too spicy here though. We are going to be exiting the room quite nicely. If Andronican is a little back. You don't want to be scan dashing from the top platform, or you could be like me and get yourself out of the room unintentionally. Boost ball is certainly one of the fastest forms of moving in the game, and you are going to see Cody triggering a cutscene we recently seen in the season. He's actually catching up quite nicely here. This is still anyone's race. We do have a lot of tricks still coming. Ooh, a little bit of trouble with that jump there Caesar's having. It's not super precise, but if you stand in the wrong spot when you're jumping, it can trip you up. At this point, it would probably just be faster to have gone around, but that's all right. It's not a big deal. Caesar exiting the room there. Scan dashing, or that would be a combat dash there, actually. Combat dashing works very similarly to scan dashing. It just doesn't require the scan visor to be out. There are less things you can. Pretty much anything you can scan dash off of, you can combat dash off of, you can scan dash off of. But sometimes when you want to have a beam out, it's just faster to combat dash off an enemy. Combat dashing, of course, you do have to have a creature that you could target with your beam to be able to get there. Yeah, essentially just an L lock, and you can lock onto certain creatures, or most creatures, all creatures, with your combat visor. Cody quite nicely moving through the wave sun here. So one of the things I wanted to touch on is that at no point until you actually trigger the cutscenes here do you lose infinite speed. Infinite speed is an incredibly strange state, and if you unmorph while you have infinite speed, it causes something called light show. We are going to see Mighty Caesar fairly shortly going for the magma pool infinite speed, which will be an awesome opportunity to talk about infinite speed some more. Cody is schmoovin'. Interesting. Anyway, so if you unmorph with infinite speed, you get something called light show. And you can't actually morph back until you find a location where your camera would change positions. There are quite a number of ways to abuse that. And one of the things of note is if you dash in the wrong spot, you can actually cause your game to crash. Ooh, Mighty Caesar getting Holy One. Perfect. Yeah, so when you do the Megan Pools IS, which Caesar's going to come into fairly shortly here, you want to boost here. You want to boost again, but because boost ball is so fast, you want to find a spot where you can unmorph and morph back so that you can actually use your boost ball effectively. And one of the cool things you get to see a clone of Samus when you go for Wave Sun, which you don't get to see in the Sun IS. Inbound Sun IS, that is. Cody's significantly less trouble with that room than Caesar had. All right, so we're back in Ruined Fountain here, which is that nexus point where before when you're going to Gathering Hall, you want to, or other method, you want the map to load quicker. Because you're moving across the room forward, you arrive at such a time that's not as much of an issue. Mighty Caesar positioning himself for the second infinite speed of the run. Having a little bit of trouble. You got it? Yeah, he's got it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, infinite speed is incredibly useful, and again, because you would return all collision checks is true. It allows you to pick up items you wouldn't otherwise pick up. Notably, though, in rooms with lots of enemies and lots of hazards, it can be quite dangerous. If you use infinite speed wrong, you kill yourself pretty easily. That's normally not an issue in Magma Pools either. I believe you only take 4 energy damage, but it can be quite dangerous in other rooms. So if you want to be learning about the run, stick to the route. And go on practice mod if you want to be practicing IS and other rooms. Unfortunately, it's a little weird to watch an infinite speed spin up. Not really much going on, other than watching a morph ball spin in a weird manner and start glitching out. I think it's really cool to watch it on practice mod, where you can actually see the number, the rotational momentum exponentially increasing. Cody also opting to boost through that room there. Cody's really determined here. It seems like he really wants to catch up, and you know I would be too, especially after a trip up like that at Flagra. Excuse me. Cody going for the missile there makes total sense. Now, dang, I forgot to check if either of these runners grabbed kids meal. That's right. That's a conversation for another time. Kids meal of note for those. Looks like Caesar may have lost the angle there. Dang, that's rough. That loses so much time. He's got the angle now. It really did look like he had it. Caesar opting to preemptively charge up boost moment. How many fasts per second was he going at the end there? Approximately two fasts per second, or rather 2 fasts for me per second. Two fasts, of course, being roughly equivalent to half of a big fast. So, yeah, it's we are unfortunately, you know, seeing Cody go through what Caesar's already gone through. A little bit slower, it seems, in this room, but otherwise quite a bit quicker overall. Caesar was a little bit of trouble until right there, and we are seeing again as he boosts into the wall, he receives the drop he's going for in that room, which is a power bomb expansion. You do not need main power bombs, just like you don't need the main missile launcher to have access to power bombs. Unfortunately, because of this thing called layers, you do have to have main power bombs to continue. Okay. Whew. Good recovery there from Caesar. So what you just saw on Caesar's screen, where the screen went really weird, is what I was referring to earlier as light show. You do have to find a specific spot in the room to cancel light show. I use a different tactic where I roll over to the fountain and unmorph and then morph back. And that allows me to cancel it. To truly cancel infinite speed, though, you have to go through a cutscene. In this case, Caesar using the save stations. That's the easiest way to look at. Earlier, you saw infinite speed canceled by getting the artifact of sun simultaneously with the wave beam. Yeah, Cody's really catching up because of that mishap with the infinite speed. Was an 11-minute advantage to death. Yeah, there you go. We are going to see Cody likely catch up even more so here coming up because of the IBDF. Cody does what Caesar's doing currently, out of bounds. Interestingly, Caesar going for the swag strat there. I would probably just climb up the side of that spider ball track. It's a little weird, but you can just walk up the side at a specific angle. It's a lot easier and a little bit faster than doing the bomb space. So let me talk a little bit about bomb space, because it's going to come up later. What you can do is if you bomb jump up to a position where the camera cannot see you, you unmorph instantly. It skips the animation, and whenever you unmorph instantly, you get an instant unmorph. It counts as if you have standable terrain under you for 3 frames. It's kind of similar to ether jumping in that way, and that allows you to get a jump and jump higher, especially if you have space jumping, which is by bomb jumping or space jumping by itself. Instant unmorphs are used in this run because they're faster than unmorphing. Normally, it skips the animation, which means you can get to what you're doing when you're unmorphing. MightyCaesar going for Ghost Kid here. A little bit of trouble. Unfortunately, triggering that Ghost fight, that's going to lose a bit of time. However, that also means he's not going to have to worry about it later, which is quite coming back through the room a second time to grab the other one. Unfortunately, in the 80% category, we don't have super missiles, which is just by far a faster way to kill ghosts. Alright, there we are with the bomb slot for Caesar. Still wants to kill that ghost. Cody canceling the eye. So we are going to see how quickly Cody's able to catch up. It really is going to depend on the quality of the FPS. Going out of bounds in gathering is fairly simple in and of itself, but again, out of bounds movement is incredibly difficult, incredibly precise. IBBF is no different. We are using the corner there. There's a little bit of a sloped piece of standable terrain there that we used to get a slope jump once again. Cody unfortunately falling a little far. Not a huge deal, able to recover quite quickly. We are going to have to unload gathering. Which we're going to do with this from here. Cody quickly jumping to the first load triggers there. Is there a fast way to avoid triggering ghosts in Hope going inbounds? Yes. So what Caesar ended up doing by accident was unfortunately jumping from a too wide angle. There is a spot where you can jump where you don't actually trigger the ghost fight. It's difficult, but it can be done. And on the way back down, you actually have to roll back and unmorph at a specific spot to land on the peg you jump to get to your home spot. It's what we refer to as ghost skin. Caesar coming up to Ice Beam here. Let's see how this goes. A little bit of trouble there. Second try. Oh, still a little bit of trouble. Alright, Cody loading Chapel of Elders there. Not sure. Going through quite quickly here. Oh my goodness, Cody's catching up so quickly to Caesar. We are literally seconds apart, ladies and gentlemen. Caesar having a little bit of trouble with those slope jumps, and simultaneously Cody doing out of bounds IBF it's absolutely fantastic to see how well this is going for Cody. I can envision the determination on Cody's face right now. Yeah, it's quite precise, but it can be done, Andros. All right. Landing at 52.52 that elevator for Caesar when the elevator touches down. Cody 8 seconds behind. Oh my goodness. It's about 7.5 seconds behind for Cody. This is absolutely fantastic. Caesar going here a little bit ahead, but we are seeing Caesar going to find Life Growth Tunnel here, which is going to allow him to go get X-Ray Visor as well as another artifact. You do have to have all artifacts currently to be able to trigger the fight with Ridley, Meta Ridley, that's going to allow you to progress to the most of the game. Oh my goodness, Cody catching up Caesar right there having a little bit of trouble with that half pipe. Oh my goodness, it's neck to neck, folks. This is absolutely fantastic. The cutscenes are almost synced up. So both of the runners there going for the power bomb. It's a guaranteed drop off of that Zoomer there, or the Justin. Cody a little bit quicker to find the bomb, bombable slot there. Now, this should be an example, ladies and gentlemen, where boost ball comes in handy. Hypothetically, I believe it is possible to roll at a specific angle to trigger that without boost ball. It is a lot faster with boost ball. There are boost slots. Cody, no trouble with that slope jump getting up there. And Caesar, no trouble either. Getting a little bit of trouble with the lineup for Caesar there, but otherwise, this is fantastic. This is an absolutely clenchy run, folks. This is fantastic. Caesar having to do, and Cody as well, what we refer to as an R jump, which is another kind of jump that allows you to get a little bit more distance than an L jump. quite a bit more difficult though, very akin to bunny hopping. Cody really showing here that more optimal movement saves a lot of time. Caesar running into the zoomers there, quite unfortunate. Those weren't zoomers, excuse me, but still a little bit unfortunate, but still Caesar is a fantastic runner. Cody just showing that superior knowledge sometimes does make you faster at the game. So the next order of business, folks, is going to be going, I believe, to Fendrana again to go get. No, excuse me. It's going to Megmore to go get Plasma Beam. Is going to be the next order of business. We want to find geothermal core as quickly as we possibly can, and ascend the room as quickly as we can to go get plasma. Touchdown on Cody's elevator at. Looking like 5609. 561003. $56.24 for a Caesar, so 14 seconds behind. We'll see if that lead is compounded or gets annihilated. Cody, no problem with quicker crash up there. Showing quite a bit of experience. Let's see how Caesar handles it. A little bit of trouble from a lower starting point of this crash there, but otherwise quite a quick recovery. Taking the ship save, definitely quite smart in a run like this. You do want to grab that ship save. It refills all your ammo and your power bomb, which is quite relevant. Sometimes you do have a power bomb going through there, but not often. Grabbing the ship save in game time doesn't actually use very much. I think it uses flames, whereas an RTA is only a few seconds, so it's not something to worry about. It's definitely an advisable strategy. Cody here quickly onto the elevator. Caesar having a little bit of trouble here once again. I wonder if this is Caesar's nerves getting to him, or if this is something that he has a little bit of trouble with normally. I guess we'll find out afterwards. Now, if you're thinking this room looks familiar, you're absolutely correct. That's because we've gone through it before on both sides here. Getting a quick scan to show that I believe they're called Maymore's. I might be full of baloney though, so don't quote me on that. Cody expertly moving through Megmore so far, and here we are in geothermal core. Now this room is quite tricky. What you want to do is get into these slots and use boost ball to spin them and raise the platforms. There's actually a platform you can skip though, and we'll see if Cody goes for it. So one of the neat things here is that you're intended to use Spider Ball to roll up that spider track and get up to the top here. However, because there's a little bit of mildly sandable terrain there, you can actually just jump up through. It's a little faster. And also doesn't require you to get Spider Ball. Cody coming here to another slope jump here off the lip of the spider track. It is actually what we're grabbing the upwards momentum from. No trouble with the dismount there. Cody very quickly navigating geothermal core. That's fantastic. Yeah, Andros, the plate skip there is absolutely fantastic. Seeing the R jump off the side. MightyCaesar also now in geothermal, of course. Had a little bit of trouble navigating that boost. That's all right. We can still see a good comeback. This is still anybody's race, depending on how stuff goes. Pirate Labs and Phazon Mines can absolutely throw it right in the game. the pirates being quite trolly here, as well as that terrain there that Cody's going to jump off. All right, Cody there showing once again, showing off a jump to that ledge without you. Another opportunity where it's just faster to not grab Spider Ball. Fighting Stardust is just such a pain, and no one wants to do that. If you know how to navigate the game alone, Spider Ball is just significantly faster to just not fight Stardust. Although fighting Stardust does make spiderless shafts not a thing, going up shaft with Spider Ball is just absolutely true. So Cody here going the artifact. It is possible to actually shoot that plasma door through the wall. Unfortunately, Cody not getting it. You do have to use a power bomb. Next order of business for Cody is going to get thermal visor from Pilot Labs, which is a little bit tricky, but it does allow we can actually do labs back. Excuse me, we're going to get the artifact from and then grab on the way down. Oh, thank you, Cody, for letting me know. Is that any better? Can anyone confirm if this is a better volume? Perfect, thank you. There's a good ascent on Cody there from the first room of the first labs. In this route, we do Pirate Labs backwards, which is quite a bit faster, as allows you to enter and exit from the exit. What you're meant to do is go through labs forward to the point where you grab thermal, and then have to go all the way back once you grab thermal in something called blackout. Fortunately, one of the doors does remain active that we fortunately have the beam to deal with, which is nice because that means we don't have to do blackout. Blackout is quite frustrating, and lots of casual players have quite a bit of trouble. And even experienced runners do have problems with blackout if they handle it incorrectly. I've seen Nintendo route runners have quite a bit of trouble there. Cody going for a strat that Flamencipator found once again. Shout out to our boy Edwin. Ooh woo. Cody going for a strat that Flamencipator found, allowing him to blow up that piece of terrain from a spot that you otherwise would have to. The intended strat there is to use plasma to melt a block of ice and then shoot it through the wall. It's a little bit faster to jump up and actually shoot it over the barrier. Cody trying to find a power bomb drop here. Power bombs are notoriously trolly, and it's getting them in certain spots can make a difference of quite a bit of time. Caesar getting a power launcher quickly there, fortunately. Cody going for the energy tank there. Potentially quite useful for later. I don't believe Cody goes for early newborn, so. But Omega Pirate can be very tricky. And that's coming up later in the run, of course, when we have some plans. All right, Cody now going for thermal visor, going for falling scans here. Little bit of trouble there, unfortunately. That's going to be a little hectic, causing Cody to have to kill the pirates and the turrets here. Missing the falling scan there is quite a bit of a hassle. Although it's looking like it's a good thing that Cody grabbed the energy tank, depending on how this is going. Caesar having some trouble with the slot there. Oh no, never mind. I'm mistaken. Yeah, Cody quite a bit ahead here, but still Caesar can mount a comeback if he plays quite well. Oh, missing the artifact there. That's unfortunate. Fortunately, it didn't go all the way out. Yeah, so as we see, that door deactivates there. Fortunately, this one doesn't, which just allows you to leave if you have Ice Beam. Kind of nice, because you're intended to only have Wave Beam and Power Beam. Cody having to wait a moment for that creature to move through into combat position. This energy tank loses some time RTA, but loses very negligible time in game, as the movement you have to do is it's slower than boosting through the room, but it's otherwise not really that big of a deal. Usually advisable for runners, both new and experienced alike, to grab that energy tank. It's functionally free. Only at the very highest level of runs you're not going to grab it. So you're of course going to grab it if it's 100%, and you're not going to grab it if it's 21%. Caesar opting not to go for falling scans. Oh, excuse me, I'm mistaken. Going for falling scans, grabbing the second scan quite nicely. Third scan, of course, absolutely negligible. It's the second scan that's the frustrating one. Cody exiting Megmore quite quickly. So Cody is in arguably the most difficult of the main areas of the game. Phase on mines. Mines are incredibly taxing and triggering the fight here. I don't know if that was intended from Cody. There is a way to move through without. Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, perfect. Using the top of the pirate's head there. That makes sense. It is possible to move through that without triggering a fight, though. Excuse me. Cody fired the shot. Did he get the more? No. And the shot didn't make it. That's okay. So this room having very similar designs to a room in Game Labs, but that's so we are going to see here that some pirates' biggest weakness is rotating slowly to the left, or excuse me, rotating them slowly to the right. You're moving. All right, let's see how Maze goes here for Cody. Good lord. So, yeah, some mazes are better than others. This one's horrible. It's not the worst I've ever seen. Or, you know. Actually, it might be. Having main power buff there allows you to. I'm trying to recall what layer changes by having main power bombs. Three-corner maze, yeah, that is an oof. That is a Oscar Fox. Oh, thank you. Elite Research Department. Yeah, so Artifact of Warrior is the one that allows you to get. Thanks, everybody. With some precise movement here, you can make this go by quite quickly. But if you have a little bit of trouble with the Metroid scroll there. So ideally, you want to not have to move across that beam. You just want a Metroid to come up to you and scan dash off of it. A little bit of trouble there. Let's see how MightyCaesar goes. Or processing changes? Thank you, Caliber. The second coming of the three-corner maze. That's a four-corner maze, folks. That is a four-corner maze. Good lord. Both of these runners getting absolutely garbage luck with the mazes. So a neat little trick here is you can actually combat dash off that pirate to get a very precise angle to make it up. Phase on doing a lot of damage, so you don't want to spend a lot of time in the phase on here. Ideally, you don't spend any time, but troubles in paradise can cause you to hang out for a bit. All right, there we go. Good recovery from Cody. Room's quite trolly, purchasing a lot of damage, so we are going to be choosing to grab that safety save, as well as generally advisable in a race like this. Also, Cody having quite a bit of a lead here, so some more safe strats can be quite advisable. Alright, so we are seeing the Omega Pirate right here. To deal with the armor plate. Plasma sheer damage to last plate. unfortunately not getting trooper skip. Oh, and power pirates. That's not good. And they're not melee pirates. Losing according to the time here, unfortunately, just finding these troopers. There is a way to cause them to lose. Unfortunately, no such luck. The troopers can do quite a bit of damage here. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be a big yikes. Fortunately, if Cody can deal with this fairly quickly, there is a lot of health that spawns off of Omega Pirate. So we'll see how this goes. Early. Oh, yikes, folks. Yikes. Get out of there, Cody. Oh, no. Cody taking the second death of this race. That's highly unfortunate. Very thankful, I imagine, for that safety save there. Absolutely, expression of shock. That safety save coming in very handy. We'll see how the second attempt of this goes. All right, trooper skip is confirmed. Very good. You'll love to see it. The second attempt going quite nicely. So far. Cody getting through Omega Pirate, no problem on the second attempt there. We are momentarily going to see that the game doesn't quite know how to handle the fact that we didn't pick up Gravity Suit. So we are going to see Gravity Suit here make an appearance despite the fact we haven't picked it up. In cutscenes, what happens is the game will tick up what's like the suit number by 1 since it's sequential. And, you know, Gravity Suit is there, despite the fact we just picked up Phazon Suit. Functionally irrelevant that we see Gravity Suit, we have the properties of Phazon Suit. A little bit of a miss on that door, a little unfortunate. Not losing too much time, but, you know, every little thing is going to count right now with MightyCaesar not that far behind. Coming into the, into the Omega Pirate fight. The latter half of Mines. Oh, excuse me, voice crack. Largely irrelevant. Not irrelevant, but made negligible when it comes to damage by the fact that we do have Phazon Suit. The Phazon Suit doesn't bother us. It's definitely a good thing here. So we are going to go grab the artifact Newborn here, which some runners do by going out of bounds in another room. But for runners that you know have trouble with the wall crawling or with the secret world, which is secret world is getting out of bounds, so that's what we call it. It's just to go fight Omega Pirate first and grab Newborn after, since Phazon Suit makes the Phazon not really, it makes it negligible. It is possible to grab Newborn without Phazon Suit early without going out of bounds, but it's a pain, and I believe it requires 6 tanks because Phazon deals so much damage, so we're not going to do that. A little trouble with the scan dash again, or with the combat dash there, Cody. Hopefully he figures this this situation quickly. And that, folks, is what we in the Call of Duty community refer to as a collateral. Yeah, MightyCaesar are having absolutely no problem with Omega Pirate there, showing us how it's done, shall we say? All right, Cody coming back through the Omega Pirate room for the second time in the intended run, or at least how we have it run. MightyCaesar going down to go get Newborn. Nice thing about this road is you to go right by that energy tank, and it loses basically again no time or in-game time grab. RTA uses not much time at all. Again, just generally advisable to grab it with Metroid Prime being capable of doing so much damage later on. Cody, no trouble with that ascent. Yes. Giggle Flat. I am horribly undercaffeinated. Feeling real bad, man. Alright, Cody coming here to the first of the spiderless shafts trick that's very famous for being notoriously difficult. Or notoriously... yeah, whatever. You know what I mean. Cody here taking some time to line that jump up. Very advisable here. Unfortunately missing it all the same. This is a prime opportunity for MightyCaesar to start mounting that comeback. Notoriously notorious. Yup. I certainly hope so, Giggle Flat. I'm really hoping that you do, because there is no way that I am going to be able to unmangle that English. Prime opportunity, forehead. All right, and Cody moving through ore processing right now. No, Caliber. Okay, that's unfortunate. Alright, second shaft here for Cody. Alright, Cody moving through the second shaft there. Successful. A little bit of trouble, but nothing that can be handled. No joke, says Caliber. Caliber, I reject your reality and substitute my own. Mr. Savage, there you go. And once again, we are showing that the weakness of all pirates is moving slightly at a very slow pace. Cody grabbing Artifact Warrior and MightyCaesar doing the first shaft here. Caesar having a bit of difficulty with this BSJ here. It is quite tricky. There we go. Let's talk to BSJ. Falling all the way back down. That's really unfortunate. Let's see how Cody handles one of those. Yeah, there's how it would be. More processing is a bit of a tricky room as well. Second attempt at ascending the room, making the room look absolute joke as Cody there. I hope Prime 2 had Metroid 2 Spirefall instead. Oh, Prime 4. I mean, fair. Why do you say that, Dr. RM? Imagine. Cody moving back through Talon Overworld here, which is quite nice, on his way to eventually fight Ridley and move through to Metroid Prime. Caesar having trouble with the second shaft, unfortunately. Of course, these tricks absolutely incredibly difficult. The fact that these rooms can do them at all is very indicative of how skilled they are. Rails are cool, but I want my points. Okay, fair. Back in Joseph Ruins is Cody here. MightyCaesar opting to rotate the opposite direction from Cody, moving himself to the right, or to the left instead. Functionally no difference, just whatever you're comfortable with. Cody once again moving through to a frigate crash site. Second time through, same as the first. Nope, never mind. A little bit of a mishap. Goodness, I cannot speak today. Of course, opting to go for the save of the ship again. Very advisable, as I discussed earlier. Just having the ability to refill your ammo and get your missiles back, as well as your power bombs. Very, very important. Getting a top up on energy also quite nice. Cody, a little trouble ascending the room there. That's a little bit unusual. Cody going through to Artifact Temple now. Caesar descending back through shafts. Going to go back through ore processing to eventually wind up where Cody is currently. That cutscene's a pain. with that, Cody has the final artifact here, which is going to allow him to trigger the fight with Ridley. Uh-oh. Did we miss something? What did we miss? We're leaving artifact sample. Disaster. Hall of the Elders. Oh no! You're absolutely correct, Andros. We gotta go all the way back to Chozo Ruins to go back to the Hall of the Elders and grab the artifact there. That is massively an oof. Giggle Flat, Cody here has to go all the way back to the Hall of the Elders and Chozo Ruins to grab the artifact of world. Yeah, that is highly unfortunate. Expression of shock. Cody's unfortunately died twice, but that's just a technical error. Going back to Chozo here. Unfortunately. This truly will be the race to finish. Insert melee. This truly will be a race to the finish! Dead is not the end. That is correct. Both of these runners having reset at least once too. So at this point, MightyCaesar slightly ahead. Of course, gonna have to deal with the Artifact of Truth cutscene as well as the entering Artifact Temple access. Let's see if Cody gets Ghost Skip here. And MightyCaesar, unfortunately, fighting Ghosts Part 2. Exiting the room. Very nice. Or rather, not fighting, but seeing Ghost Part 2. You're absolutely correct. Cutscene is something to factor in at this point. If Caesar goes for the save, it's still pretty much neck and neck, even though it doesn't really look like it. Cody, fortunately, not even triggering the ghost cutscene, so. Or triggering the ghost fight. Cody got to risk it and go push, go rush really to save time. Flyby skip is going to be something that likely comes into play here, whether either runner or both runners get it. Getting World this late is normal, yes. Having to go back from Artifact Temple to Artifact of World is not normal at all. That's unfortunately an error on Cody's end there. Feel Samus, man. Yep, that checks out. Alright, let's see if Cody can muster some movement here. Yeah, expression of shock. Generally, the idea is after mines, you want to go get Artifact World and then go to Artifact Temple. Unfortunately, Cody missed going and grabbing Artifact World from Hollow of the Elders on the pass. Losing quite a bit of time there. Opted to grab a save. Grabbing the system. Or grabbing the refill on whatnot. Of course, grabbing the save. We do not want to be missing an Artifact of World in case we died, which would be quite difficult for Cody to do, given his level of energy and experience, but still. Mighty not save? I'm not entirely sure if Mighty saved. Generally, if you know what you're doing, Ridley's fairly safe. Going through phase on 4 is a little tricky though if you want to. You probably want to. Both runners likely going to grab the save as soon as they enter Impact. All right, yeah. Cody pulling ahead here again, just due to the cutscenes. Cody starting off the power beam to the rhythm of the song, which is quite nice. Cody not going for flyby skip, interestingly. Might have been a setup there. That's alright. Let's see how this one goes. Caesar having some trouble with snipes there. Cody not sure what the lead so far. That looked wide, but he got it. Are you really speedrunning? No. Alright, Cody defeating Meta Ridley first here. Again, MightyCaesar having a little bit of trouble sniping. Meta Ridley getting wrecked into the crater there. Cody sniping. Yep, you're absolutely correct. Let's see how Impact Crater goes. Alright, of course, Cody going for the save. Makes total sense. So, despite the fact we have Phazon suit here, the red Phazon is still going to hurt. So, this is not a room that's very trivial, despite the fact Cody making it look trivial so far. To be ahead after so many mistakes, producing all those skills. Absolutely, you're 100% correct. It really just goes to show that superior running isn't always by the tricks you do. It has a lot to do with how your movement goes. Superior movement wins the day. So, you see runners that can get sub-hour without going out of bounds. So here's another major RNG portion of the game. Ideally, when you're fighting Metroid Prime, you want to get Plasma Beam as many times as I believe it's Ice Beam. Like, you're going to see it, but you don't want it to see it. Metroid Prime, unfortunately, gets more and more trolly as you go into each subject. The deeper you go, the more trolly. When in the final subchamber before Essence, you end up getting a situation where you can see Metroid Prime change to one beam and then immediately change to the other before you use the fire aftershock. Cody got me off the charge there, quite nice. In a sense, Metroid Prime can be manipulated somewhat, so that you can continue doing the same attack over and over. Cody trying to go for it here, unfortunately not working out. But you can essentially have Metroid Prime get stuck in a loop of attacks that allow you to continue attacking more. MightyCaesar37, unfortunately not getting it. Is it better, Ensign Chekhov? Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for letting me know. Cody once again grabbing the snipe off the charge. Alright, Cody descending into the final subchamber here. You're absolutely correct, Dickle Flat. It is coming down. It is coming down to the wire right now. Cody, a little trouble on the aim there. See if we can grab the animation, maybe. Missed that snipe, unfortunately. It's one of those things where we aren't necessarily concerned about health. If Mighty can get to Essence, it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned. There's a lot of opportunity to pick up health in Essence. So. Cody coming to the end of the exo portion of the fight. Getting trolled there is Cody. Looking like we're going to see Plasma Beam instead getting a wave. Plasma is certainly the one you want to see. So. Alright, there we go. Cody is finished exo. MightyCaesar looking like he's descending into the fourth subchamber, which is quite nice for him as well. Cody canceling the music here. We get a somewhat silent fight. Let's see how Essence goes. Essence can be quite trolly, getting a good placement of. Ooh, huh. Interesting. Okay, we'll see how this goes for Cody. It's a very interesting placement. Let's just say that of the first. So the trick here is that by moving quickly in and out of the pools, you can choose to, or you can cause the game to not deplete the pool at all when you shoot. At the end of the pool's timer, what you want to do is you want to spam and cause the game to keep shooting. Ensign, unfortunately, it looks like Venmu is having a bit of trouble with some technical issues. I'm running this by myself. Yeah. Anyway, so this allows you to use a lot more shooting or a lot more energy from the pool that's actually there. At this point in the game, if you don't have phase on suit, if you try to get it out, you can't actually damage Essence because you don't grab hyper mode. And Cody is done. Cody has won the race. Let's have a big congratulations for Cody here. This is very not good. Okay, good. He got the Ultra. It's easier. That Ultra energy coming in clutch at 3 health there. Of emotion, absolutely correct. Let's see how Caesar handles this. Cody opting to fix credits quite nicely. A little bit of trouble with that pool. Thank you so much, Dendros. I appreciate it. That's valid. And there we go, folks. GG's to both the runners. Trip ups here and there, but I think they're very entertaining race. Alright, folks. I'm just gonna end up waiting here for until we see the ending card for ducking out. I am going to mute myself at this time. I do need to make GG's to both of the runners. Absolutely fantastic job keeping us entertained this entire time. Thank you everyone who came out to watch and support these runners, and we hope to see you again later on in the races, folks. I'll catch you later.